Have you ever noticed how easy it is to feel that you are not quite there yet? When you are doing the work, when you are showing up, even when you're making progress. That feeling often comes from a belief that success is somewhere in the future, in that direction, and that we will feel good about ourselves once we get there and get that thing that we're after. The promotion, the job, the money, the partner, the business, whatever it is. Today I'm going to talk about what that belief costs us and what can change when we stop waiting to feel successful. And if you don't already feel successful, feel good within yourself about what you're doing, this video is about making that shift. And we'll swing around to the practical side in the next video. If we haven't met yet, hello, I am Kathy. I know that success feels good, and I also know it's something that you don't have to wait for. I remember a period where things were moving. I was showing up, I was doing the work, I was making steps to move forward towards the goal that I said that I wanted. I started a self-publishing journey, and it was a journey. There was a lot of new knowledge, a lot of learning involved that I needed to come to grips with. I felt overwhelmed a lot of the time, and every step felt somewhat unsteady. And at the time, I didn't recognize any of that as progress. And what stands out for me now is that I wasn't failing like I thought that I was. I was just not allowing myself to feel like what I was doing counted yet. You have to learn before you can do the new thing. And I was learning a lot. And I was taking the aligned steps most of the time, even if some of those steps were very slow in being taken. Most of us grow up with this sense that success is something that you arrive at. Point in the future where you have landed at your target destination. And that's fair. Every dictionary definition points to success being that point of attainment, achievement, accomplishment. So we tell ourselves we'll feel successful when the number lands, when the work looks a certain way, when I reach a certain point. And without really noticing it, we place success ahead of ourselves, which means we are not allowing ourselves to feel good about the steps and the progress that we're taking right now, feeling successful. Instead, it's a constant measurement against what hasn't happened yet. When success is always placed in the future, you're very aware of what's missing, the gap between where you are and where you would like to be. It becomes harder to feel nourished by your own efforts, and that's not very nourishing. It may mean that you are using a measure of success that keeps the feeling of being successful permanently out of reach. Early in my self-publishing days, every time I sat down at my desk to do the work, I would immediately feel overwhelmed by all the things that I thought that I needed to do, like all of the things all done now. Almost immediately, the story that was in my head was that I am so far behind. How am I ever going to catch up? There is so much to do. So I would experience the angst and then I would be walking away, all without having done very much. You can imagine the productivity. Success felt like forever away. And with those actions, it probably was. What I've learned now, both within myself and with what I see in others, is that the people who make steadier progress over time are not the ones who are feeling constantly behind. They allow themselves to notice and acknowledge the progress that's being made as it happens, instead of measuring progress of what has yet to happen or needs to happen. And that changes how I show up. When you feel successful, you tend to show up differently. More confidence, consistency, enthusiasm, definitely with less urgency. That has been my experience. And there is also something else at play. Even when we do reach a certain milestone, the feeling does not stay. If you think about the first win you had, the excitement of it, maybe the relief, but then how quickly your attention has moved to the next thing. And that's not a flaw. That's just how our minds work and adapt, which means if success only lives at a destination, we are always chasing a feeling that fades. 2 years ago, I published my first book and I celebrated so hard. It was a huge buzz, and I have published many more books since then, and I don't feel nearly as enthusiastic or excited about it. Still a proud moment, but just not at the same level. I've come to view success as something less about where you arrive at and more as something that you live alongside of. When that relationship shifts, the whole experience of working towards your goal starts to shift, starts to become different, a good different. When I stopped waiting for some future point in my life to feel successful, it felt like a visceral shift. I felt lighter and, of course, so much happier. I used to need a pep talk and some good procrastination time fitted in to do the publishing work. Now I can sit down with ease and just go. I can engage with it without the heaviness or the striving most of the time, which was why I was able to keep going and publish more than just the one book. And I know that all the work that I put in contributes to micro investments in my future goals. I was worried that I would lose my ambition, that I would get complacent, because for so long now, pushing is how I kept myself moving. But that didn't happen. It is so much easier to keep going, even through the times when it still gets messy and looks unclean or uncertain. And that's not because things have suddenly become a lot easier. The work has not suddenly become a whole lot easier. It's more around that internal resistance that has completely eased. So if success isn't something that only lives at the finishing line, the question becomes, how would you redefine success in a way that feels good, that feels true? In the next video, I'll share a few practical ways that I have learned to notice success along the way. You don't have to choose between waiting to reach a goal or achieve something to feel successful and feeling successful now. These two can coexist together. Until next time, let's make it feel good and not just look good. See you soon.